Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? We got some breaking news, some very good investigative reporting, and I really want to thank Burke McGill for this report. But that we have China. Reports are that China has entered into the fray as it relates to Syria and the escalating tensions building in the Middle East. According to a Belgrade report, according to Debka Files, military and intelligence sources, reports are that China sent word to Moscow on Friday, October the 2nd, and that J-15 fighter bombers would shortly join the Russian air campaign that was launched Wednesday on September the 30th. In the September to remember, Baghdad in Iraq has moreover offered Moscow an air base for targeting the Islamic State now occupied in parts of Iraq and Syria, large swaths of those two nations' territories. Matter of fact, these J-15 warplanes will take off from the Chinese airstrip, actually from a aircraft carrier, the Liaoning CV-16 aircraft carrier, which reached Syrian shores back in September the 26th, again in September. Now, according to Debka File, this will be a landmark event for Beijing, China, its first military operation in the Middle East, as well as the carrier's first taste of action in conditions of real combat. According to reports on Thursday night, China's foreign minister Wang Yi made this comment on the Syrian crisis at the United Nations Security Council session being held in New York City. The world cannot afford to stand by, he said, and look on with folded arms, but must also interfere or get involved in this crisis. A no less significant development occurred at about the same time when Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abad, speaking to the U.S. PBS NewsHour, said he would welcome a deployment of Russian troops in Iraq to fight ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, also known as ISIL, or the Islamic State. Now, forces in this country, he says, need to be dealt with. He says, as an added incentive, he noted that this would also give Moscow the chance to deal with the 2,500 Chechen Muslims whom he said are fighting with ISIS in Iraq. The reports say that Baghdad and Moscow have just concluded a deal for the Russian Air Force to start using the air base there in just outside west of Baghdad, both as a way station for the Russian air corridor to Syria and also as a launching pad for bombing missions against ISIS forces and infrastructure in northern Iraq and southern Syria. A joint Russian, Iranian, Syrian, Iraqi war room. Let's say that again. A joint Russian, Iranian, Syrian, Iraqi war room. Now, don't be shocked by this information, because Putin told us exactly what he was going to do. Unlike President Obama, Putin does what he says. He stood in the United Nations and said, listen, he just went right into Syria, set up a base, brought in tanks and artillery and thousands of troops, and made this statement. He said, listen to me. We are going to reestablish President Assad over Syria. He said, we are going to build a strong government in Iraq and secure a strong nation in Libya. And we're going to do this, he said. And we're going to build a coalition with other partners. Well, obviously, those partners are Iran, helping them build their nuclear plants and assisting them in their nuclear capability, and going right along with President Obama's 6 superpower deal to allow the Iranians to have nuclear weaponry Also, he's already struck a deal with the Chinese. And he has a deal with the Iraqis. And he has a deal with the Palestinians. I mean, are you serious? And he's always been in the corner of Assad. Basically, in 1 hour, the United States was told to get their planes out of Syria and to clear Syrian airspace. And in 1 hour, Russia took over the Middle East. In 1 hour. That hour has come. And now Ezekiel 38 with the Fab Five nations are now forming. Turkey's already in there doing airstrikes on the Kurds. Putin's already in there bombing the Syrian Free Army. Now he's locking arms with the Iraqis to take care of ISIS, we hear. We'll see. And so, meanwhile, America does an airstrike and hits a hospital and kills 9 doctors. That's all we can do. We can't hit any of the ISIS people. We just blow up hospitals. We don't even know what we're doing. We're the most incompetent leadership right now in the history of our nation's history we have right now. It has surpassed the days of Jimmy Carter. This is a report, folks. It's a joint Russian, Iranian, Syrian, Iraqi war room has been working since last week out of the Iraqi defense minister and military staff headquarters in Baghdad to coordinate the passage of Russian and Iranian airlifts to Syria. Also Russian air raids. The command center is also organizing the transfer of Iranian and pro-Iranian Shiite forces into Syria. Well, you're going to see Hezbollah now even beefing up. Soon they'll be in the war room. Oh, and by the way, Hillary Clinton already took Hamas and Hezbollah off, and Iran off the terrorist list when she was Secretary of State. John Kerry didn't even have to do that. So, folks, I'm telling you, the corruption right now stinks to high heaven in Washington. The United States has lost complete control of the Middle East, and Israel knows it. And Benjamin Netanyahu is right now figuring out how he's going to deal with a Russian-led Middle East full of Muslims who hate Israel. And that's the facts. And I'm not stuttering when I say it. That's the actual facts. And the United States of America has just laid down and give up the ghost. Not because our military can't do it. Not because we don't have good generals. Not because we don't have brave young men. But because we have leadership that has let us down. No question. No question. You're living in the prophetic times of the Bible. The Bible, Jesus said, when you see the armies come passing Jerusalem, okay, know that the time is at hand. All right? Know that these are the days of vengeance. And we have come to that point. Boy, you don't want to miss today's live broadcast. Starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't be late. L.A. Marzulli will be our guest tonight. And we got a lot to talk about. Are you serious? Give your life to Jesus Christ. We are running out of time. Go ahead and make a fresh pot of coffee. Go ahead and do it now. Stay up late because you need to understand what's going on. I'm going to the Middle East tomorrow. We'll talk about it tonight.